Welcome to the Tattoo Marketing Podcast. On this week's episode, we're going to talk about the state of marketing in the tattoo industry in 2026 because it's gotten to a an interesting place. We'll talk about kind of what's going on, the best ways to go about it, and essentially what we're seeing. If you've been thinking about marketing, or if you currently are running any kind of ads, maybe you're getting good results, maybe you're not happy with it. But yeah, let's talk about it and see where we can go with it. Enjoy. All right, guys, welcome to the episode. For those of you that don't know, my name is Jesse. I'm the owner of Inklink. We're a marketing company that works exclusively with tattoo shops. Been doing this for a little over 5 years. Currently, we work with 146 shops and artists here in the US, a handful overseas. We do a lot with Google advertising, Facebook and Instagram advertising. And essentially, we find the ideal clients a shop or artist wants and actually qualify them to make sure, one, they can afford it, and two, that they're serious about it, and then actually book the consultations for these shops and artists. My background for the last 11 years has been in marketing. I built three businesses to over $1 million a year on the back of Facebook and Instagram ads and marketing. I absolutely love marketing. I love the psychology behind it because that's, at the end of the day, that's all marketing really is psychology. Getting people to do what you want, for lack of a better term. Getting them to click a button, getting them to come in for a consultation, getting them to sign up with Inklink. All that is in marketing and obviously also sales. But why I wanted to talk about this is if you've if you've listened to the stuff I've been talking about the last 4 or 5 years, it has essentially been marketing is where the tattoo industry is growing. It's just how it is with how much the industry has grown, how many new shops there are, how many new artists there are. And if you started a couple years ago, you were an early adopter, and that was one thing I preached. Like, start this stuff now, you'll be an early adopter. Because what we're seeing now is almost every shop is running ads, whether it's Google, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Almost every shop at least has tried to run, and maybe they weren't successful, they stopped, or they are currently running ads. So if you got into this a couple years ago, you 100% have a leg up, and good for you, because it's just becoming more competitive. And essentially how that affects the actual marketing is, since there's so many more ads, there's so much more competition. The clicks cost more, the cost per lead costs more, the cost to get somebody in your chair costs more than it did just 2 years ago, let alone 5 years ago. If you were running ads, you were killing it if you were doing it correctly. Um, we've also seen a huge influx of marketing companies in the last year coming to the tattoo industry. When I started this 5 years ago, I believe I was the only one. I can't think of anybody else that came to mind. About 2 years ago, we saw one or two marketing companies coming to the tattoo industry. And now, if your Facebook and Instagram feed are anything like mine, it is almost all the ads I see are for marketing companies for tattoo shops, which is mind-boggling, especially when it's people that have no tattoos or that don't know anything about the tattoo industry. A lot of them are what's called a generalist agency. They'll do pretty much any niche. And now they're trying to do the tattoo industry as well. Talk to a lot of shop owners that have tried marketing agencies and it hasn't worked out. It could be a targeting thing, could be they don't know the industry, but that's kind of where we're at. A couple of things I wanted to talk about is a couple of conversations I had lately. One, I actually spoke with a guy that was thinking about a shop owner that was thinking about working with us this week. He said I talked to 5 marketing companies before us, and that they all did the exact same thing, which is, again, wild. When 2 years ago, there were maybe 2 or 3 of us. 5 years ago, I believe it was only us, at least that specialized in just tattoo shops. So to have 5 other shops or 5 other marketing agencies that he had talked to that ran ads, that did marketing supposedly exclusively for tattoo shops. I don't believe that. I believe that's just one of the niches, but um, is absolutely wild and really shows where the industry is growing. Where there is a market, the services will come in for it, essentially. So we know there's a lot more tattoo shops and artists spending money on marketing. So obviously, marketing companies are going to start moving into that. Now, the issue with that is I talked to another gentleman, probably this was probably 2 or 3 months ago, who had hired another marketing agency to run Google ads for him. He spent $7,000 and he was in the LA area. So no lack of people. He hadn't had one person come into his shop for the $7,000 on Google ads that he spent, which is mind-boggling. He had hired supposedly a professional agency that knew the niche, that knew tattoos, that knew Google ads, spent 7 grand. Um, and no one came in, which honestly at this part when I'm talking to tattoo shop owners about working with us is one of the hardest things is building trust because there's so many now. There's so many marketing companies. So many shops have had a bad experience with a marketing company where they spent a ton of money and got absolutely nothing or very, very little in return. That's another one of the reasons I wanted to have this conversation. And then the last conversation I wanted to talk about is, I think it was 2 days ago. I reached out to a shop that had been thinking about working with us a couple years ago, just asked him how things were going. He owns 5 shops and he's in the process of opening 2 more. He's huge into marketing. He spends a ton of money on it. And it goes to show you that it works. There's so many shops and artists right now that aren't booked out. I talked to an artist 2 days ago as well, actually. Who is phenomenal. He's one of my favorite artists. He hasn't tattooed since December. So that's 3 months. And it's not for a lack of skill. Well, he's one of my favorite artists, and I won't mention the name, but phenomenal artist. He should be slammed every single day. But it really goes to show that marketing makes a huge difference. That's essentially where we're at now. Just posting to social media isn't enough. It's that one, the algorithm has changed so many times and it's really taken away from artists in general, not just tattoo artists, but people, photographers, people that paint, stuff like that, and gone over to, unless you're doing reels and dancing like a monkey for TikTok videos, you don't get the views that you used to. And I know not a lot of tattoo artists want to do that. And it's been wild to see. Like I said, this has only been the last couple of years. So let's dive into essentially what you can do for your marketing. There's 2 ways really to go about it. One, you can learn how to run ads yourself if you do want to do marketing, which is 100% possible. Anyone can do it. The amount of time and money it takes is another story what we'll get into, but anyone can learn how to run ads. Number 2 is hiring a marketing company like Inklink, like one of the other ones out there. Obviously, I recommend Inklink, but I'm biased. Hiring the right company can save you a ton of time, a ton of money, and get you results much faster than you would be able to if you were trying to learn it yourself, and save you a ton of money. So hiring a marketing company. Again, a lot of marketing companies have entered the tattoo space in the last year. And from what I've seen, they don't stay very long. It's usually 3 to 4 months I'll see their ads, but I swear when one goes, 2 more pop up. So there's a ton out there. And I want to make it very clear that not all of these marketing companies are terrible. I'm sure there are some phenomenal ones out there. But I've heard a lot of horror stories. So make sure and do your due diligence if you're going to work with a marketing company, because a lot of them have a really, really good game when it comes to talking. They can promise you the world. Like these companies hire professional salespeople. Like professional salespeople make a lot of money for a good reason. They could sell ice to an Eskimo. But a lot of it is just talk, especially if it's a commission-based salesperson. They don't care how good the results are. They don't care if you stick with the company for 1 month or 5 years. They got paid. Now it's on the rest of the marketing company to fulfill whether they can or whether they can't. So they can make you all the promises in the world. Doesn't mean it's going to be good. Things to look for if they're only going to do advertising and no follow-up text or reactivation campaigns. you're not going to see amazing results in the first couple of weeks. That's just how it goes. And it can depend if you have a new ad account, if you have one that you've been using. But no matter what, when you launch a new ad, it goes through a learning phase that takes at least 2 weeks. And then you start to see more consistent results, whether it comes out of it. So if you're going to run them yourself or you're going to hire a marketing company, understand the first couple of weeks are going to be slow. It's just how it is. It sucks. Google and Meta do the same thing. There's nothing anybody can do about it, though. They go through a 2-week learning phase, and then they run like they normally should. So don't expect instant results. So one thing to ask if you're hiring a marketing company is if they do any kind of reactivation campaign to past clients, where you'll essentially send out text to your past client list saying, hey, if you come in within the next week, we'll give you 10% off or a free hat or something like that. People use any excuse to get tattooed, so you don't have to offer them a lot. But that's a really, really good way to bridge that first couple of weeks. And that is what we've seen the fastest way to get pretty much an instant ROI if you hire a marketing company is to have them do a reactivation campaign while the ads are going through the learning phase. So ask them if they're going to do that. So anyone that promises instant results, that's a red flag. Again, a lot of these marketing companies will promise you the world and they can get you stuff tomorrow. It's just like if they're only running ads, that's just not how it works, unfortunately. Ask for testimonials, ask for case studies, ask if you can see live results. That's one thing we always do when we talk with shops. We send them 7 to 8 testimonials from shops we're working with. We have case studies built so they can take a look at them. We've got permission from shop owners to show live ad accounts so they can see their results. So make sure you're doing those things. Make sure you can actually see, because if a marketing company shows one testimonial or one result, that might just be their golden child, and the other, 1 out of every 10 is good. So make sure you can see a couple of them. It's really good to get one testimonial, whether it's from a shop owner or a supposed shop owner. Make sure you're doing that so you can actually verify this company knows what they're doing. Like I said, don't trust anyone on just one example. Get multiple. Also, and if you can get a company to actually tell you this, a marketing company, you're probably in good hands. Ask for their churn rate, specifically for the tattoo shops they work with. Churn rate is essentially how quickly clients leave or the percentage that leave. Like Inklink, we have a 4% churn rate. That means we lose 4% of our clients. The average for a company that does what we do is between 17 and 31%, which is mind-boggling. But ask them their churn rate. And if they say they never lose a client, that's a lie. Ask their churn rate. Try to get that info. Hopefully they tell you the truth. But that is a really good way to know how good a company is doing. If they have a churn rate above 10%, you know that 10% of their clients leave every month, and that's probably not going to be a good fit, especially if they have some kind of contract in place. It's 6 months. Someone has to stay for 6 months and then they leave immediately. It's probably not the marketing company you're going to want to go with. So don't buy the pitch. Get proof. Get proof that the company knows what it's doing. Now, on the other side, if you want to learn ads yourself, like I said, anyone can understand how to do this. Anyone can learn how to do this. It does take time. It does take money. And why most shop owners or artists hire a marketing company is they don't want to spend the time learning it, and they don't want to spend the money testing what works. That's like the biggest thing is it's not an instant thing. Like you don't watch a YouTube video and then all of a sudden you're an expert. That would be me like saying I was an apprentice for one day and now I'm a tattoo artist. Especially with how competitive it's got, dialing in the targeting, dialing in the landing page, all that kind of stuff takes time to learn and then time to test, and money to test. So if you're going to do this, don't just learn about lead generation, because that's honestly, at least I think, the easy part is getting people to fill out the form, getting people to message you. That is very simple. Getting the right people that aren't going to ghost you after the first DM after they ask for a price, or getting people to fill out a form that'll actually show up for a consultation. That's a whole different story. If you want people that aren't going to ghost you and can actually afford your work, You need to learn about conversion rate optimization. You need to learn about targeting. You need to learn about speed to lead. You need to learn how to build a landing page. You need to learn how to disqualify people. That's one of the best things you can do is when somebody's filling out a form for a consultation, especially from a paid ad. If it's organic, it doesn't matter as much. They're usually word of mouth or somebody, they've spent their time, they've already done the due diligence researching you. But if it's from an ad, it's typically people that don't know you. So we make people go through a form and we'll disqualify them like, hey, the minimum is a half day or a full day. It's $1,200 to $2,000 a day. Is this in your price range? If they say no, they're disqualified. If they say yes, then they can continue going on. A lot of times when you run ads, especially messenger ads, you'll get people who ask the price and they think they're going to get like their entire half sleeve done for $100 to $200. That's wasting your time and that's wasting your money because you just paid for that lead and it's a very bad lead, to be frank. So actually doing all those things is what makes marketing. It's not just getting leads. It's easy to get somebody to fill out a form. It's easy to get somebody to message you. To get the right people is the hardest part. You can actually learn how to run ads fairly quickly. You can learn 90% of how to run an ad in a couple hours, but it's the other 10%, the targeting, the tricks, the stuff like that is why companies usually, or tattoo shops usually hire a marketing company because that's what takes all the time. That's what takes all the money testing stuff, the frustration, things like that. Learning to get the right clients into your shop, though, through paid ads is a game changer. For about the last year and a half, almost every successful shop I've seen that's still growing, even with the economy and tattoo apocalypse and all this kind of stuff, are tattoo shops running ads that have been for years. Because there's still, no matter where you live, there's still plenty of people getting tattooed every single day. The pie is just getting cut thinner and thinner and thinner with the amount of shops and artists out there. And now that ads become a thing, the shops that are spending the most money and have good marketing are the ones that are staying busy for the most part. Of course, there are some outliers out there. But almost every time I talk to a shop that is like, hey, everybody's booked out 3 months. We're just looking to add some more bigger projects in that. And that's why we're going to hire Inklink, you guys. They're running ads. They're spending a bunch of money on advertising. And a lot of people see this like as spending money. It's an investment. And if you know your numbers and you know you're getting a good return on your investment, it's 100% worth it. In the perfect world, when your ads are doing well, you should be getting about $10 out for every dollar you put in. If you're not, I know a lot of shops that would be happy just breaking even. Most of them are losing money on their paid ads, which is unfortunate because, again, when it's done right, it's a machine. And then all you have to do is feed the machine more money and you get more clients, and that's how you scale. Like I mentioned, the guy that already owns 5 shops that are doing extremely well and is opening 2 more in the next couple of months. He spends a ton of money on marketing. He knows if he puts $1 in, he's going to get X dollars out. And once you know that, you're essentially unstoppable. You can scale as far as you want to, depending on the population in your area. So anyway, I just wanted to touch on that really quick because marketing, we've seen this coming for years. Like I said, I've been preaching this for the last 5 years. Like, get into marketing. It's going to become the golden standard in the next couple of years. And we're at just about that spot where at this point in the last 1 to 2 years, pretty much everybody has tried running ads. Pretty much everybody is running ads. And if you got into this a few years ago and you're an early adopter, you were good to go. The tattoo industry is predicted to double again from where we're at now by, I think it's 2030, 2031, which is wild. But what we're seeing is really just the beginning. Now everybody's running ads, but very few shops are running good ads or have good landing pages. Most shops have terrible follow-up. They have no kind of sales funnel set up or anything like that. It's honestly one of the biggest reasons we moved over from just generating leads for tattoo shops to actually bringing in appointment setters into Inklink to book consultations for shops. When we did that, it was a game changer. You can't expect a front desk person to watch a YouTube video and be a professional salesman. Same analogy I used earlier. That'd be me like watching a YouTube video and saying I'm a tattoo artist now. Sales is a very specific skill, and when it is done correctly, it is a game changer. And just being able to have a conversation with somebody does not mean you're good at sales. Top salespeople in the US make over $1 million a year in sales with their commissions. There's a very big difference between good salespeople and people that can just talk to somebody and have a conversation. So, anyway, hope that was helpful. If you guys have any questions, feel free to message us, inklink_marketing on Instagram. Our website is www.inklink.com. Yeah, or if you want a free 15-minute consultation, see if we'd be a good fit for your shop, shoot us a message. See you guys on the next one.